Welcome back viewers. In the last video, we have seen how to install the Debian Multimedia Pureblood, and in this video, we are going to discuss which kernel to install. So, during the installation of the Debian Multimedia, the real-time configuration was done to the system. So now the system behaves as a real-time system or real-time OS, and it is very sensitive to the you can say to the user application, and it is very responsive to the user application, and it will give the response in real time to the user inputs, we can say in short. And suppose there are two methods for the pro audio. One method is to use the real time audio. So uh, most of the Linux distributions adopt these methods. So in the real time method, the speed or the clock is reduced so that the system can instantly respond to the memory requirements or any other CPU intensive requirements of the application that is being run by the user. So the user applications get more privileges over other applications. And if you also do the memory lock configuration, then there is no memory lock to the uh, given application, user application, that is, it might be audio or video application, and all the resources are available to that application till the application completes its work. So in this case, the along with the real-time configuration, you must have a real-time kernel to complement the real-time configuration. If you don't use the real-time kernel, then that we can say that overall configuration will not be that great. And in the second option, uh, what we can do is we can just have the memory lock configuration. We can change the uh, interrupt priorities of the different processes, and we can install low latency kernel, like for example Liquorix, or in Ubuntu they have got the low latency kernel, inbuilt low latency kernel developed by the Ubuntu developers themselves. So that is another way. So that way is more easier to configure than the real time way. So the method one, that is the real time method, is little more difficult for configuration, especially in Arch. In Debian also, it's not that easy. Most of the people cannot do it. So you must have some experience with the Debian system earlier or the Arch system earlier. Then only you can proceed ahead and do those configurations. Whereas in the second method, that is using the low latency kernel, it's very easy. You have to just install the low latency kernel in most of the Linux distributions, and it is good for the amateur recording, not pro. Even sometimes even in the pro it is good, but I will prefer to use the real-time kernel for the professional level audio video work. For amateur, or we can say intermediate level of the audio video work, you can use the low latency kernel. It is very good. So now we have already done the installation of the real-time configuration in the Debian Multimedia. Now you have to install the real-time kernel. So to complement the real-time configuration we have done in the Debian Multimedia Pureblood, we will install a RT kernel or the real-time kernel instead of a low latency kernel. So if you want to see how to install the low latency kernel, there are separate video in our channel. You can watch that. You can watch the Ubuntu Studio where the low latency kernel is installed. And you have to pass this command sudo apt search linux image. So it will show all the Linux images, that is the Linux kernels that are available in the repositories of Debian. And if you have installed the backports repository, then the latest kernels available in the backports channel are also shown. So right now we are not enabled the backports channel for this Debian Multimedia. If we enable the backports, some more kernels will be there. So what I will do is I will just enlarge this so it's easy to read, and we have to just search for the RT. Here you can see the RT kernel is there. There will be multiple, but we will go with this. So we will have to install the headers also separately. So in earlier, that is up to the Debian Buster, whenever we selected and install the main kernel, the header package of the main kernel was also automatically selected. But now in the Debian book home, you have to install the main kernel image and the header image separately. So you have to give the two packages for installation specifically or exclusively. So I will just put this here, and at the starting you have to add sudo apt install. Now you have to search for this header also. So headers will be there. Let us see. Header should be there at the top, where let us see if it is there. Or again they have gone to the older method, that header will be automatically selected. Let us see. I don't see the header file. Header file should be there. It might be at the top. Yes, the headers are there. So we have to just verify the uh, version, that is 6.1.10 is there. So we have to go and select the uh, 10 kernel, header kernel. Yes, so where it is 10 PAE. Yes, so this is the header. So if you mismatch it, then the installation will fail, or your system might be unoperational. So you have to select the perfect version. So the versions of the kernel and the Linux kernel header should be same. I will just show you at the bottom. When we go at the bottom, you will get the idea what I am telling you. So if you just install the main kernel, then it won't work, it won't compile. You require this header also. You can put the header at the starting or at the end of this install command. Both will work. So now you can see it is perfectly matching. You can see here 6.1.10. It is perfectly matching the main kernel image that we have selected. So version of both main kernel image and the Linux header kernel image is same, and we can just input. And one other thing that I have just forgot to tell you, suppose you have got some cards like this, especially the NVIDIA cards are installed. So dedicated NVIDIA graphics is there. So then don't go for the RT kernel, because RT kernels won't work with the NVIDIA. So there is a method is there to circumvent this issue. You have to pass certain kernel parameters so that the system will not check for the NVIDIA card, and it will just bypass that. Otherwise, what happens is once the RT kernel is detected, automatically the NVIDIA driver is offloaded and it won't work, and the NVIDIA will dedicated graphics will stop working. So there is a workaround for that. Maybe in some later video I will show you, but don't do it. Best is to use the low latency kernel. So low latency kernel has no issue with the NVIDIA graphics card. Only the RT kernel has issue with the NVIDIA graphics card. So keep that in mind. So on this virtual machine anyway, it is of no consequence whether it is a NVIDIA card or not. So this RT kernel is going to work on the virtual machine. So I will just installing it. But do remember, if you have got NVIDIA card, then don't install the RT kernel. You can have the RT, that is the real-time privileges installed or configured on your system, but use a low latency kernel. So you can install the Liquorix kernel that I have already shown you how to install the Liquorix or the Xanmod kernel, which are both your low latency kernels. Both have very good performance. You can install them. It's well and good. It will work. So that's it. You can see here the RT kernel is installed, and once the installation is complete, always you have to reboot. So that will can say that will ensure the correct installation, and you can select the RT kernel from the grub menu every time you boot henceforth. So with this, I will stop the video here. In the next video, we are going to check out the actual Debian multimedia system, how what packages are there. So it will be just short. We cannot have a very long video, because many of the things I also don't know. I'm not a musician, so I have not used many of the packages, but I will just show you, take you around, show which different packages are there, because each package, it is, we can say, it has got a lot of background. We require a lot of background to even work with those application packages for audio video work. So I also don't know much things. I only know the things that are required to make these videos for the YouTube. So I will just show you around, and the musicians who are watching this video, or the creators who are watching this video, they have to learn by themselves. There are a lot of guides available on the YouTube and on the internet, so you have to use that. You have to use the help file from each of the application, read the help files, that will be having a lot of information, and you have to just uh, do it yourself, learn it the hard way. So I also learned the video editing and all these things hard way. I also checked out the different guides on internet and YouTube. I learned from that. So you have to also learn. But I'm trying to make things much easier for other creators, Linux users, and musicians. So try to watch the video completely, and try to appreciate by giving likes, by subscribing to my channel, and sharing my channel with your friends and family. So on this note, I will stop the video here. See you in the next video. Bye bye.